Hola amigos, ¿cómo está? My name is Dan and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking all things Chivas, and it's going to be all things involving departures. We don't have anyone coming in yet, but there's a whole load of players going out, especially on loan. Let's just straight into the big one. The main one I want to talk about is obviously Mozo. One of my best players, one of my favourite players, should I say. I think one of our best players. I think he's been the last year or two. I think he's been our best right back. I think he's been one of our best players. Fallen short under Milito. Milito really doesn't seem to really rate him that much, or at least trust him that much. He was a bit of a bit part player last season. Obviously, Richie Ledesma was playing there in that position. Obviously, Gomez as well. A couple of other players. I think Casilla was there for a little bit as well. So, took a real big step back, Mozo, last season under Milito. Milito, I don't think has ever really trusted him. So, yeah, game time. Obviously, he deserves game time. I think he's obviously going to go Pachuca now on loan, with apparently an option to buy. I don't think it's an obligation. All signs consider that he's going to make that move permanent at some point. So we'll get this one out of the way first, because this one's the one that really hits me hard, because I love Alan Mozo. He's one of my favourite players, period, whether it's Arsenal or Chivas or anyone. He's a really phenomenal player, really good character as well. Even someone that struggles with Spanish knows how cool Alan Mozo is and how likeable he is. He's got a good sense of humour and stuff, and the players seem to love him as well. Obviously, he's really close to Portugal's man, and obviously Gutierrez as well, which I think is going to go there as well. We'll talk about him in a minute. But I love Mozo. Similar to Pocho for me, it's just a bit of a wrench to see him go, especially in this kind of manner. It sucks that we're not going to get money for him, but again, wage-wise, he's going to get money in the bank for us with that. There was a rumour going around that we were still going to be paying his wages. That's not true. Apparently, Pachuca are going to be paying the lion's share, because, they're going to take that responsibility permanently, I think, at the end of this, in the summer. I feel like they will, the option will be triggered. I think he will stay in Pachuca. Pachuca are going to have a really good team, to be honest with you. I think Gutierrez is still a good player. Pocho, I think he's still a good player. Mozo is going to be a really good player for them. They're going to have a really good team next season. And it's really sad to see Mozo go. I kind of understand it. We're going in a bit of a younger direction. And, I trust Milito completely. And, if he doesn't rate Mozo for whatever reason, then okay. I love Richard Ledesma. I love all the players we've brought in since the beginning of last summer. So I'm thinking, okay, this is a drawback of having such a great summer transfer window and having a decent winter transfer window so far, obviously, with the players we've brought in, Sepulveda and Gutierrez coming in. You're thinking, okay, if this is the payment for that, if that's the kind of karma for that, then fine. But still a wrench for me. I love Alan Mozo, like I said. He's one of my favourite players. He's going to continue to be. I'm not going to hate him. I'm not going to be... some players leave in a really bad way, but Mozo hasn't. He just wants game time. He deserves to be playing. He's definitely a starting right back material for pretty much any team in the league. Kind of glad he didn't go to Tigres or America. I don't think he would have ever gone to America. I think he's too much bad blood there, but he could have gone to Tigres, I think, and if that had happened, we don't want Tigres getting stronger, and I think he makes them stronger. So Pachuca, like I said, are a decent team. They're always a good team. Then Pachuca are a club that I've never really had any kind of beef with. Cruz Azul, Necaxa, Club America, obviously. Tigres a little bit as well. They're teams that, for whatever reason, I've hated in the past. Pachuca, I don't really hate so far, but if they beat us in game one, then that might change. All credit to Alan Mozo. I love the guy. I hope he does really well over there. Not too well though. I don't want Pachuca winning in the league or anything, but I just want him to have a really good career over there, and I think he's got 5 years, minimum, left in the top level in Mexico. So and I would have liked to have seen him play a little bit more for Mexico. I think at one point, maybe not last season, but the season before and the season before that, I think he was good enough to be in the Mexico squad. Anyway, all credit to Alan Mozo. I hope he does really well. All the best for the future. And like I said, Eric Gutierrez seems to be going out on loan as well. Again, another loan with not an obligation, but kind of like an option to buy, which probably strongly hints that it probably will happen unless, they have a really bad season or whatever. Players like Pulido as well, he's seriously linked to Cruz Azul. Don't really want to strengthen Cruz Azul, but, Pulido really, with all due respect, is on the tail end of his career now. Is he going to be a massive, you know, strength for Cruz Azul going forward? I don't think so. I think if you struggle to get into this in this Chivas team, I think you're going to struggle to get anywhere. So in the top division, so I think Polito is going to be Cruz Azul's version of us getting that house. Of us getting Angel Sepulveda. I still struggle to say his name. I don't know why. Sepulveda. I don't know why I struggle. But yeah, I think he's going to be their version of that. Just to back up a squad filler and, a decent player to come off the bench and see how it goes for them. Again, all of these are, they're not guaranteed to be permanent, but, the assumption is that by anything serious happening, all these players are going to go in the summer and we're going to get all of their wages back. Another big one, there's a couple of big ones really. The first one is obviously Mendes from Tapatio. The defence has always been a bit of an issue all the way through Milito's tenure. Centre back wise, wing backs. Left back and right back. We're golden with that. But centre backs, Tiba's not quite up for it. We've lost a couple of other players. We need upgrades in the centre back position, and Mendes seemed to be the one that was going to come from Tapatio. There's a bunch of players in Tapatio that I think are going to get into the first team. Aguayo, in the attacking sense, is going to get a real chance. Heavily involved in pre-season and scored a couple of goals, which was brilliant. I think Milito really likes him. We'll have to wait and see. Mendes is going to be the one for the centre back. I think he's good enough to come into the squad, good enough to play the odd game here or there. Probably not start, obviously, but get some game times in, rotate it a little bit. And he's decided to go to Necaxa for some reason. Apparently, the club got massive hate for this because it's like Mendes is one of the guys in Tapatio that everyone was like, okay, this kid needs a chance in the first team. Apparently, he was offered that. Apparently, I think personally, he's been told we're going to bring a centre back in, but we want you in the squad too. We want you to play and fight for the position. And he's gone. Apparently, he said, "Now I want to leave. I want to be a first team player somewhere else." And the Cax have jumped on it for some reason, which is weird because they've got loads of money. So I don't know why they're taking our youth prospect on a loan. It's a loan. It's not an obligation to buy like Diego Ochoa's travesty was. It's just an option to buy. Obviously, we can turn down options. So I'm hoping that he plays well over there in Necaxa. He develops over there, gets some first team football. At the detriment of Necaxa, because obviously centre backs. Arsene Wenger said it yourself. If you start young defenders in your first team, you got to sacrifice a certain amount of points, and that's the downgrade. You create this player, you build him up, and you improve the player, but the detriment of that is to your points tally. You're going to drop points. So they can do that. They can play him all the time. He can develop really well. They can drop points because obviously he's not the finished product and defensive wise. And then hopefully if he has a really good season, then he can come back and then play in the first team next season. Because I think if Tiba survives this January transfer window, I think he will definitely leave in the summer, whether Milito stays or not. And I think Mendes can step into that void, especially if he's had a really good season for Necaxa. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But that was a big one. That was a controversial one. I didn't like it. All my friends didn't like it. A lot of fans in general didn't seem to like it, so we should have him here. It's Diego Ochoa Part 2, but again, it's no obligation. I still want us to go and get Ochoa, but Warriors have just bought him. They're not going to sell him again, so maybe wait till the summer and try and go and get Ochoa again. Maybe that's what we're going to be doing. Maybe that's the long-term plan, because I think Diego Ochoa should never have left on a permanent deal. We should have kept him. And hopefully that's the last mistake we're going to make, because other than that, the last 6 months, 7 months have been really good transfer-wise. We've signed really, really, really good players, and we've let some other players go. Another player that we've brought in is Carlos Saldati. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I've never heard of him until we signed him. Apparently he was at Cagliari for a little while. I think he was developed at Querétaro. Another word I can't say. No matter, I can say it in my head, I just can't say it in my mouth. It's weird, Querétaro. I think he was developed there and went on loan to Cagliari. Cagliari didn't do that well, I don't think. He's in Tapatio now. I think he's going to be taking Mendes' spot. Hopefully he does really well over there. And Tapatio just developed really good players, which is cool. And the last big one is Teo Wilca. Now, The attacking wise, the striker position is a very interesting point of contention for us for this season. Obviously, we're letting Pulido go. Chicharito's gone now. We run his contract down. I think we bought him out actually. I can't remember how it worked. But Cheech is gone. Polido's going. We've brought Sepulveda to obviously replace Cheech and Polido with one player, which is cool. Hormiga's going to be our starting striker. Hopefully, he hits the ground running. He's been a little bit injured over the over the. I keep wanting to say the summer, but it's not. It's January. The winter, should I say? He's been a little bit injured. He played in the last friendly game. Which is cool. We got a few minutes in, but Milito already knows how good Hormiga is. He doesn't really need to see how he does. It's just getting him up to match fitness. We've got a league game very soon, so Hormiga's gonna be his starting striker, game in, game out, the main guy. I'm hoping he gets the number 9, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe it's another number change would be cool. But anyway, Hormiga's the guy, and then obviously Angel Sepulveda is definitely the backup. So he's the number 2. That's cool. So then, the first thing obviously is Ricardo Marin. I don't rate him. I think he was a good option to get him when we did buy him. He did all right for us for a little bit, but not really. And then obviously he went on loan to Puebla, didn't do well over there. He scored a couple of goals, sure. Marin will get you 3 or 4 goals, and they'll be important goals. They'll probably be goals that will win games, but it'll be 3 or 4 goals. That's it, and won't do anything else for the rest of the season, and it's not enough, in my opinion. And because we've had him on loan, because he's come back, I feel like we just can't get rid of him. I don't think he wants to go out on loan again. Otherwise, I think we'll just loan him out like we do everyone else, and get someone else to pay his wages, and then take him on a free, or take him on permanent at the end in the summer. I don't know why we didn't do that with Puebla. I don't know why we did an obligation. Marin's not good enough for this squad. We've got Aguayo, I'll talk about it in a minute, who I think is almost as good as Marin and should be given the opportunity to play. So, I'll say that, I'll talk about it in a minute. I'll talk about Aguayo now. Aguayo is obviously blazing it up with Tapatio. We signed him. It took a while to get going, Aguayo, but once he did, he didn't stop. He scored a whole bunch of goals last season. Tapatio in general didn't really do much last season, but he was one of the bright sparks. Scored loads of goals. He's good enough to be in the squad in the first team. He's played a couple of games under Milito now. Milito's watched him play a couple of games, scored a couple of goals, which is cool. Marin scored a goal in the last game as well, which you got to credit him for that. But I'm like, dude, if you've got a Tapatio 23-year-old scoring pretty much 1 goal more than you in a 3-game pre-season, that should worry you. I mean, Aguayo for me is not that far off from Marin. And Marin's like, 7 or 8 years older than him. So, I'm probably exaggerating. I don't even know how old Marin is. But, my point is Aguayo is not that far from Marin, in my opinion. I think if you've got Aguayo and Marin, I would rather play Aguayo because he's the younger player with the higher ceiling, in my opinion. In a perfect world, we move on Marin as well. And we just have Hormiga, Sepulveda as number 2, and then Aguayo as well as the 3rd striker. That's fine for me. Aguayo's not going to demand to play every single game. Sepulveda's obviously been signed knowing that he's going to be the number 2. And he'll get a start here and there, whatever. But he's very, very, very much underneath Hormiga. And if we sell Hormiga to Europe, we'll talk about Hormiga in a minute as well. But yeah, clear roles. Hormiga starting, Sepulveda second, and Aguayo I think will be quite happy being 3rd place, getting some minutes here and there, probably playing for the Tapatio team as well here and there, or maybe the other 23s a little bit. But I think Aguayo will be happy at least for a while, getting a bit part in the season and go from there. We'll talk about Hormiga. Apparently they've had Carlos Osorio wants him over in Brazil. Hormiga should never ever consider going to Brazil. No disrespect to Brazil, they create a lot of players, a bit like Liga MX, but there's no way, bro. The Hormiga needs Europe, big time, and it's a big bad move in my opinion. some journalists and stuff want to paint it as a good option for him. No, 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 no. Like, thank you very much. They can have Marin for free if they want, but there's no way in hell that Hormiga's ever going to entertain going to Brazil. And I don't think Hormiga's going to go at least until the summer. And I think if he has as good a season next season as he did last season, there's gonna be European interest, 100%. Whether it's Premier League interest or not, that remains to be seen. But definitely European interest, and I really do feel like Hormiga's gonna be the next one that goes to Europe in the summer, probably. I think, but we'll have to wait and see. And if that happens, then maybe by then, Sepulveda's playing a little bit well. Maybe Aguiro's playing really well as well, and he steps up and becomes the new Hormiga. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, at the moment, there's a lot of people going, not really many people coming in. We still need a massive centre back, in my opinion. Apparently, Milito's asked for an elite centre back. We'll have to wait and see who that's going to be. Some people saying Carlos Salcido, which is quite funny. I don't see him coming back. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Victor Guzman over there, and I think he's going to be good enough to play for us as well, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm sorry for the late video. Obviously, I've had work over the last few days. I had like a 5-day run, so it's crazy, but off now for a little while. Again, if any kind of signings happen, I'm doing nights next week, so I'm going to do recordings during the day. If any signings happen, I'll obviously talk about that and react to any news as and when. But let me know what you think about all the players outgoing. Like I said, I'm really sad Mozo's going, but I can understand why we're doing it, so I'm not angry about it. I'm just sad. But let me know what your thoughts and feelings are on these players that are leaving, and what our striking situation is going to be like, what our centre back situation is going to be like. I think everywhere else is good at the moment, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you guys very soon. So take it easy. Adios.